Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joined today from the Better Business Bureau here in Wisconsin. Tiffany Schultz, she's back. Tiffany, how you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
I love your office, man. And then it's so busy today in the background there.
Yours is pretty special too.
I'm sitting in the middle of a block in city of Fitchburg. Hopefully a card won't come out of nowhere to dodge out of the way. No, we're not here to talk about that. We are going to be talking about trusted contacts to keep in your back pocket. And this is like the places you want to have in your back pocket. Like think of your plumbers, your electricians, your locksmiths, your towing company, your repair shop. All things that you may not use on a regular basis, but when that time comes and you need them, you want to have those ready to go, right? Because you're going to be in a pinch, so you don't want to make bad decisions because you're rushing through trying to get something done.
That's right, Jeremy. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns. And when you need to call a business, like you said, a plumber, a roofer, a dentist, who do you turn to? You're going to want to do your homework on companies that may have a future need before you need to do business with them because scammers do take advantage of people when they're in an emotional state. An emergency is always an emotional state. People do things quickly because they just need to get it done. And we don't want you to be in that position. We want you to do your homework on companies. And we're going to talk about the types of companies that you should be making a list for.
Yeah, it's really hard to be it's hard to be proactive on a lot of stuff and a lot of fronts, but in that emergency situation, the last thing you want to be doing is searching through reviews and trying to figure out, is this when you're sitting on the side of the road waiting to be picked up, oh, I can't even imagine. So let's start when we're looking at the home front. Home front would be your locksmith, electrician, plumbers. Why I can't even imagine why you wouldn't want those in your back pocket, because those would be terrible situations that you could run into.
Let's say that you're locked out of your home and your keys are maybe locked in on the kitchen counter. Your phone, you don't have your phone. Who are you going to call? How are you going to contact them? You're going to want to kind of have some ideas on who you can call right away because if you're running to a neighbor's house to use their phone, you're going to kind of want to know, this is the company that I need to reach out to rather than who in my area is a reputable blacksmith? Who can I call? And scammers do use online mediums to post ads to make them look like legitimate companies. So when you do a search on locksmiths near me or plumbers near me, and things appear at the top of the search results, some of those could be scam companies. And you don't want to be directed to the scam company. You want to know exactly who you're going to call in that situation.
I unfortunately locked myself out of my vehicle years and years and years ago in a city, and I had to go into the gas station. I was at a gas station. I had to use their phone, use a phone book to look up a locksmith. It just that. Again, worse scenarios, you just don't want it. And electrician and plumbers, those are that can be very costly. Same with the locksmith, depending on what time it happens. But electricians and plumbers too, like you want to know because the costs in an emergency situation, let alone just in general, that's a big deal.
And there's never a good time. When those things happen, it's either after hours on a weekend in the middle of the night. And not only are you sleep deprived, but you don't know who to call. You're in an emotional state. You need to get this taken care of immediately. You're going to want to know who to call and do your homework on them ahead of time. Make those proactive phone calls. What is their rate? What is their procedure for after hours? Is there somebody on call? Or you're going to want to know all of those questions before you determine this is the company that I want to do business with if something should happen.
Going for your car, then, that we kind of already talked a little bit about the towing service, but an auto repair shop, you might have an auto repair shop person that you work with in general, but towing wise, that's another one too. Like maybe you have AAA and you don't think about it, but if you don't and you don't have something set up, I mean, that could be interesting because how do you pick the right one in that situation? That'd be tough.
When you're on the side of the road, you likely do have an opportunity to reach out to the tow company that you want to do business with. If law enforcement is assisting you, they will call out a tow company that is on their list. So you may or may not be comfortable with them. Maybe you had a prior interaction and you don't want to do business with them. You want to remain in control on where your car goes and the costs associated with it.
Yeah, no surprises on that front any more than you've already been surprised with in the scenario. For finances with your bank, credit union, or your credit card company, certainly it's one thing to have an account set up with them, but I'm guessing here that you still want to make sure you have conversations about those what if moments.
This is really important. So let's talk about if your credit card gets compromised. What do you do? Do you want to be fumbling for that customer service phone number and possibly reach a scammer versus your local bank or your local credit union or even your credit card company? Have those numbers handy because fraudulent transactions on credit cards aren't rare. They're more common than we think.
Yeah, you want to be prepared. You want to be ready to face those challenges, head on and know exactly what the process is going to be, because it's timing too. It could take a while for stuff to get back in your. There's just so many what ifs. And then finally, just for the family, I like this, like the veterinarian, the 24-hour emergency plan. Where if something happens to your pet, where are you going to be taken to him? If you need a babysitter, nanny services, or a pediatrician, dentist, doing those things up front again pays off in the long run.
If you have a pet, you've probably been to a 24-hour veterinarian. And when you call that veterinarian, they may be booked up for the night. So not only do you want, your first choice, but you're going to want to know who those 24-hour veterinarians are in your area because when it's an emergency and you're using 24-hour care, it's really an emergency. Your pediatrician, you're going to want to know how the after hours works. How long does it take to get through to somebody? Should you be going to the ER or can you call the pediatrician? All questions to know up front. And a dentist, when there's a dental emergency, you're going to want to know what the procedure is and how quickly you can get service if something should happen.
Absolutely. Well, if you want to learn more about getting prepared, being prepared in these types of situations, I suspect that BBB's got a place for you to learn more.
Do your homework on businesses that you're interested in using in the future at bbb.org. You're going to want to check ratings, reviews, and complaints. And you can find all of that information and more on bbb.org.
All right, Tiffany, thank you so much. And I feel like I'm ready to get more prepared. I got some calls to make.
Make that list, Jeremy.
Thank you.